All right, step aside, homicide.
How long you been waiting to say that to me?
First thing I thought of when I woke up.
Hey, Sarge.
They took one in the chest. No sign of a struggle. My guess, for what it's worth, they either took him by surprise or they shot him from a distance.
Anything missing?
I'm gonna check with the girls.
All right, make sure your men secure the crime scene.
Is that gonna be the last one today, or you got a few more saved up?
No, that's it.
Good.
What do we got?
Name's Lester Bakewell. He's an Army recruiter here to make a presentation at the school.
How'd the job come in?
Security guard. Heard shots around 7:15.
That's the partner. She was in school when it happened.
Name's Angela Payson, staff sergeant.
Hey, you should get in touch with their CO at Fort Hamilton. Let them know what happened.
I got it.
We'll start a canvas.
Sergeant Payson. I'm Detective Clark. Tell me what you know about what happened here.
Sergeant Bakewell and I arrived a little after 7. I went in to make sure the auditorium was open. When I got back, I saw that he'd been shot.
Did you see anyone hanging around outside?
No, sir.
Anything you could tell me about Sergeant Bakewell?
He'd been assigned to the recruiting office here the last 2 years. He was just an outstanding individual, and I hate that he's lying out there in the open.
I know, they have to take photographs.
Let's finish up so we can cover them. Like I said.
I'd like to speak to someone about my uncle who's missing.
How long has he been missing?
4 days.
Detective Jones will talk to you.
Yeah, right this way.
He's actually my great uncle. His name's Giuseppe Campo. We're Basque.
You think something happened to him?
It's not like him to be missing for 4 days.
Where does he live?
Shelters mostly.
He's homeless.
Yeah, he lost his apartment 2 years ago. He had a stroke, and the hospital bills cleaned him out. I've begged him to stay with me. He won't.
Is there any one particular part of town he stays in?
No, he doesn't tell me. He meets me at Viniero's every morning. I buy him an espresso and a roll. I give him clothes if he'll take them. I make sure his Metro card has money on it.
Is there someone else he might have gone to see?
No, I'm all the family he's got in this country.
Any reason someone would want to hurt him?
Oh, he's just a sweet old man. This is him. I bought him that Knicks hat and scarf for Christmas. Believe it or not, he's a basketball fan.
We can check the hospitals to see if he's been treated in an emergency room. There's no guarantee we're gonna find him.
Well, you'll try, right?
Right.
Detective John Clark, Warrant Officer Stephen Nutting, Army CID.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
He's handling the investigation for them. So, what does it look like?
Too soon to tell. Could have been an aborted robbery.
Somebody looking to steal audio-visual equipment. Could have found it without a soldier standing guard.
Well, it could have been a spur-of-the-moment thing. The perp got spooked.
Yeah, that hour of the morning is pretty deserted. I wouldn't get my hopes up for witnesses.
Family's been notified?
They're down in Georgia. A chaplain and a field grade officer have been sent out from Fort Benning.
We're looking into the DOA's background?
There's a good friend of his that he served with. Works for the MTA. We're meeting with him later. The dean of students of the school's inside. We'll ask him if there's any students we ought to be looking at.
Why don't you set Steve up at Sipowicz's desk?
Sure.
Has there been any open hostility toward military recruiters at the school?
There'd been a couple of demonstrations, for the most part peaceful.
Well, what part wasn't peaceful?
We have one young man whose brother was killed in Iraq 4 months ago. He trashed their table and made what I guess you could consider threats, although I didn't take them seriously at the time.
Well, any indication that the student had access to firearms?
Last month, he got into an argument with a classmate and threatened to shoot him. We suspended him for 2 weeks. When I spoke to the father, he told me that they did have a gun in their apartment. A rifle, I think he said. Paul had shot it many times, according to him. Said he got a merit badge in marksmanship from the Boy Scouts.
What's this boy's full name, Mr. Dixon?
Paul Corbelli. And I hope to God he had nothing to do with this.
What do you got, Sarge?
Yeah, you put it out over the radio. You're looking for missing persons wearing some Knicks paraphernalia? King Tut here just got picked up for marijuana possession.
That's a white male we were looking for.
I know that, Metaboy. But unless you think Tut's on Spike Lee's Christmas list, maybe you ought to ask him where he got that stuff from.
Right.
All right, why don't we go talk in here for a second, King?
What I gotta do that for?
We want to ask you something.
Now tell me you ain't never peed in the street.
You're here for marijuana.
Which they only found on account of they was harassing me for my urination. Now this whole thing gets excluded. Ex post facto.
Hey, don't be running off at the mouth out here. They said to come with them, you come with them.
Come on.
We're looking for somebody who was last seen wearing a hat like that, King.
These hats everywhere.
And the scarf and the jacket.
They mine.
Where'd you get them?
I don't know where I got them. I had them. I had them for years.
They look new.
Yes, they do look new. You know why that is? I take care of them.
We found the guy whose clothes these are. It's gonna be a bad day for the king.
How bad?
Bad?
Well, a guy give me them.
Let's go.
What'd I do?
Nobody gave you nothing, King. Now stop wasting our time and tell us the truth.
I got my coat took. The truth. I got my coat took. I got my shirt took. I was exposed to the elements.
Where was the guy you took him off?
In the dumpster.
What'd you do to him?
Not a damn thing. He was out. I took what I took. And then I spreaded the garbage over him so he would not be exposed to the elements. Which I didn't have to do. And then I climbed on out.
Let's go.
Where we going?
You're gonna show us a dumpster. Keep an eye on this guy while we get our coats.
Good call, Sarge.
Where were you around 7 o'clock this morning, Paul?
Home.
Anyone there with you?
My father already left for work. My mother's dead, so no.
We know about your brother, Paul.
Uh-huh.
It's tough to lose someone that close.
Last month, you threatened to shoot another student at your school.
That was just talk.
Well, we checked. We know your father has a hunting rifle registered in his name.
Yeah, I brought it to school in my backpack.
Are you being sarcastic? Because, see, that tells me that you're not taking this seriously.
Where's the gun now, Paul?
I have no idea.
This was an American soldier murdered on American soil.
Okay.
Do you blame the Army for your brother's death?
I blame a lot of people.
Well, we know you demonstrated to keep the recruiters out of the school.
How do you know that? You take my picture?
You were observed, behaving in a threatening manner towards those recruiters.
I thought we had free speech in this country. Isn't that what my brother got killed defending?
When was the last time you were out of this country, Paul?
What's that got to do with anything?
I think maybe we need to familiarize him with some of the other interrogation techniques we have available to us.
Like what?
Stand up.
Just tell us when the last time was that you were out of the country.
Last summer.
Where did you go?
Spain and Morocco.
Where did you go in Morocco?
Marrakesh.
Who did you meet there?
Nobody.
Who paid for the trip?
It was a package tour. I paid for part of it. My grandma paid for part of it.
You're lying.
I'm not.
Stand up!
I'm not lying.
You're gonna keep standing until you tell us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth.
We're gonna get a hold of your father's gun. We're gonna know if it was fired today.
Do you have any idea what we're gonna do to you when we find out that you were lying?
I'm not lying.
You hated those recruiters, didn't you? Didn't you?
They got my brother to enlist. My brother got killed. How do you think I feel?
Did you shoot the recruiter, Paul?
No, sir.
Oh, you're gonna stay on your feet a long time, son.
Can I talk to you outside for a second, Steve?
You don't want me to catch you sitting down while we're gone. What are you doing? He's ready to go.
I think you're coming on a little strong.
It's first and goal, John.
It's not first and goal. You got a scared kid in there.
Kid, hell, he's 17 years old.
And he's scared.
Good, I want him scared.
Listen, why don't we get him to relax, and we'll go at him again.
Well, I guess since we're on your turf, I gotta defer to you.
I appreciate that.
So what do we do now?
Why don't you stick your head in there, tell him to get off his feet, and then we'll get back to him in a little while. All right? That way he starts thinking that we're both his friends.
No, that's the last thing I want him thinking. But you got it.
Emergency services got a jumper on the Brooklyn Bridge. They're gonna be a while.
So we gotta search this thing ourselves. I don't want to go in there.
You know, I'll go in. I just wish I had a change of clothes back at the house.
Oh, so having a change of clothes at the house brings it around to me.
Did I say that?
All right. Yeah.
That protective layer of garbage is there like I said.
Yeah, King, it is.
Just what I wanted to do when I grew up. Here's Johnny.
Oh, he dead, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, but I think you look great in a uniform.
Thanks, John. Got a copy of the 61 in the shooting.
How come you're bringing it up?
First officer's busy. I thought I'd take care of it. What?
Nothing wrong with wanting to visit, Andy.
Any motive on the shooting?
Nothing so far.
Anything on the DOA's background?
It's John's case. I don't know.
Anybody been assigned to my desk?
They got the Army CID guy using it, but it's just temporarily. We're doing court.
What are you doing here?
What happened to you?
Hey, I'll take him up to anti-crime.
He should have aired himself off. He knew he had trim waiting for him.
Shut your mouth.
What'd you find, by the way?
Guy took the hat off his DOA.
King Tut look good for it?
We're waiting to hear from the ME on cause of death. Yeah, we found this book of matches on him.
I'll talk to the sector cops.
You do stink.
I had to go in the dumpster.
Why?
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
Probably right.
Here,
What's this?
open it.
Wow. Schofield Realty. Greg Matterboy Sales.
When you're ready.
This is a really nice thing, Bridget.
I didn't build a real estate business in Manhattan being tentative.
No one would ever accuse you of that.
Anyway, give me a call.
Yeah. Let me walk you out.
Have a seat. Paul had nothing to do with that recruiter getting shot, I swear it.
What time did you leave for work this morning?
About 6:30.
Where was your son when you left?
Sleeping in his bed. He's not the easiest kid in the world to wake up in the morning.
You own a gun?
I have an old hunting rifle.
What kind?
Remington 30-06.
Where do you keep it?
In my bedroom closet.
When was the last time you saw it there?
I don't know.
Your son ever talked to you about how he felt toward the Army?
What he says because of his brother.
What does he say?
You gotta understand, Brian was who he looked up to. More than me. Brian was everything to this kid.
Does Paul know how to use a gun?
He learned in the Boy Scouts. But I'm telling you, this
What
is
are the
not
circumstances surrounding his trip to Morocco?
He and a friend of his signed up with some student travel program.
Why Morocco?
I don't know. They got it in their heads. They want to go there.
Sir, do you have any objection if we take a look at your gun?
None at all.
We're also going to need to take a look at your son's computer.
Sure.
If he's been associating with any suspected terrorist organizations, we're going to find that out.
I'm sure he hasn't been.
Every website he's ever visited, we're going to know about it.
What we're trying to say is that the best way to help your son is to tell us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth.
It is possible, sir, that your son could be concealing some things from you.
I raised my boys to love their country. And I got one who died for it. And there ain't a day that goes by when me and his brother don't think of him. Still love my country, though.
Does your son?
Even if he don't, he would never cause another family to go through what we've been through.
I'm walking around talking to myself since I found out.
You guys are close?
We hated each other at first. He's from Valdosta, Georgia. I'm from Washington Heights. Thought he was just another cracker asshole. Then we got dug in together over in Desert Storm. We saved each other.
Stay in touch?
Mm-hmm.
So what was going on with him?
It was all good. He was looking at a promotion, a master sergeant. They were going to send him to a language school to learn Arabic. Just found himself a '66 Chevelle with a blown engine he was going to restore. And he was in love. Don't get much better than that.
Who was he in love with?
I don't think he'd want me broadcasting that all over the place.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd want us to find out who killed him.
He's in love with this chick he worked with. You know her name? Angela. They didn't want it to get out because they worked together and her divorce wasn't final. But he said it was for real.
Thanks for your help, Sergeant.
Why don't we go back in here? Please have a seat. Your uncle's dead. The medical examiner said he probably died 3 or 4 days ago. They'll know more after the autopsy.
Where'd you find him?
The Lower East Side?
Just lying down on the street?
He was in a dumpster.
Sorry.
Did somebody kill him?
It's possible.
We won't know until we hear back from the medical examiner.
This is what I was afraid was going to happen to him.
There's a matchbook from a restaurant, Zazo. Is that someplace your uncle would have gone?
No.
He was in a dumpster behind there.
How did you find him?
Well, we got lucky. Somebody was picked up wearing that Knicks hat that you gave him.
Did he kill him?
We're not sure anyone killed him.
I mean, what did he have on him? A comb? A crucifix? A few dollars and a Metro card?
We'll let you know when we hear something.
Do you need a ride anywhere?
I think I'm just going to take a walk.
Where do we stand with the kid?
I don't think he did it.
We have a difference of opinion about that.
We just talked to one of the DOA's friends. Apparently, Bakewell and his partner were having an affair.
You talked to her husband?
I'm gonna get a hold of him.
Look, I know you guys do things your own way, but for what it's worth, I hope to God we're not about to put these people through a bunch of gossip mongering for no good reason.
You go where the facts take you.
And where the facts have taken us is, for my money, is to an individual who fits the profile of native-born enemy combatant to a T. For the life of me, I don't know why we're not staying with that.
Well, we're checking out his alibi. We're pursuing other possibilities.
If it were up to me, I'd be putting his feet to the fire.
Maybe that's what you'll wind up doing. But for right now, you need to talk to Sergeant Payson and her husband. That's it.
Yeah? All right. Thanks. Matter boy. I talked to the guys who have the sector that restaurant's in. They responded to a discount complaint last week involving a manager and a street guy who matched the description of your DOA.
We're just on our way over there.
There you go.
There's a footman calling for a supervisor. He's got one under at 13th and 3rd.
I'm on my way. Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Somebody call you to come in?
Yeah, I'm supposed to talk to Detective Clark.
Upstairs to the left.
Thanks.
Can you think of anyone who might have had a grudge against Sergeant Bakewell?
No,
You know if he owed anyone any money, if he was a gambler?
Neither of those things.
What was the nature of your relationship to him?
We worked together. We were friends.
That's it.
I don't understand why you're asking me this.
We received information that the two of you were having an affair.
How is that relevant?
May not be. It just helps us if we have all the information in front of us so that we know what we're dealing with.
Les and I were seeing each other. We didn't plan on it. We didn't want it to happen, but it did.
Why didn't you say anything about that before?
I don't think it's relevant.
Does your husband know?
My husband and I have been separated for 8 months. Our divorce will be final this June.
Does he know?
Yes,
When did he find out?
about a year ago. He suspected something was going on, and I didn't deny it. I begged him to forgive me. I stopped seeing Les. I put in for a transfer. I tried to be a perfect wife, but I wasn't one. Not to Carl. I told him he could have everything. I was filing for divorce.
How did he react?
He was sad. I was sad. We've both been doing our best to be civil to each other and get on with our lives.
Is your husband in the service?
Retired.
Where does he live?
Comac.
We're gonna need his phone number.
Tell him I'm okay.
manager?
Won't have a table until 10:30.
We don't want a table.
What's the problem?
You recognize him?
Nope.
We got a report you got into a fight with him last Tuesday.
Who said that?
Someone who saw you.
Wouldn't be Carol Burnett's evil twin, would it?
Who?
Well, she's this lunatic who lives upstairs. You know, she's trying to get us kicked out of the building.
Are you saying you didn't have a fight with him?
I'm saying I don't remember. It's a human flotsam come and go in this city. If they make problems for me, I make problems for them. I don't clutter my brain trying to remember faces.
This guy might have died that night.
Sorry to hear that.
That would make you the last person to be seen with him.
What are you suggesting, that I killed him? What possible reason would I have for doing that?
You should know that this is a homicide investigation. That means we're going to talk to your whole staff and everyone up and down the block. And if anyone says that you put your hands on him, you become suspect number one.
That means if there's anything you have to say, now would be the time to say it.
The only thing I have to say is that I hope this is some long-lost Rockefeller cousin or Ron Perlman's uncle, because I hate to think with everything going on in the city, not to mention Homeland Security, you guys are spending this much time trying to figure out who did what to some bum.
We need a staff list with contact numbers.
No response. Duly noted.
What do you got?
I'm about to write this guy up for being double parked. When he comes out of the building, he starts in on me. I give him his warning. I told him he was getting out of line. When he wouldn't stop, I put the cuffs on.
When I get my turn, I'll be right with you. Did he put his hands on you?
I think it was headed in that direction.
But it hadn't happened.
No.
All right, what's your story?
I work for the medical lab. I come here every day to pick up the blood samples from the doctor's offices. It takes me 30 seconds. I walk in, I grab the box, and I walk out.
What'd you say to the officer?
I said, I'm trying to make a living.
That's it?
I tried to show the man respect when I first came out. I told him, I got over 30 stops to make. There's no place to park. I don't leave my car but for a minute. But he don't listen. He say, it's too late. That's when I got mad.
All right, step back here a second. Come here. Is that true, what he said?
Pretty much.
What do you want to do here?
What do you mean?
I mean, do you want to create a situation? This is a working man. He's not sticking nobody up. You're going to cost him 2 days' wages with that ticket, and then when he gets mad, you're going to collar him?
What should I have done?
You see him go inside the building, you wait. If he's in there for a while, then you write him up. If he comes right back out again, you talk to him.
What do I say?
Tell him you're trying to keep traffic moving. If he's a right guy, you be a right guy.
About how long do I wait while he's in the building?
5 minutes.
Yeah, sorry.
It's the kind of thing you get a feel for after a while.
What do I do now?
Give me a summons. Now go over there, take the cuffs off, tell them they have a nice day.
So I understand you're retired from the military?
Yeah, Army.
What rank did you retire?
Light Colonel.
You heard what happened this morning.
I did.
Did you know Sergeant Bakewell?
Yeah.
How did you know?
No way to say it but to say it. He and my soon-to-be ex-wife were seeing each other.
Now, we have to ask you this, but where were you between 7 and 8 this morning?
I work for the Nassau County Department of Emergency Management. From about 7:30 on, I was observing a preparedness drill at St. Catherine's Hospital in Rockville Center.
And there's people who can vouch for that.
Sure.
It's just for the report.
I understand. How's Angela doing?
She's doing okay.
I'm awful sorry this has happened.
When was the last time you saw Sergeant Bakewell?
I ran into him at Angela's when I was dropping some things off. That would have been about a month ago.
How was that?
We conducted ourselves like gentlemen.
How are you and your wife handling the divorce?
And we've had our moments. Probably both said some things we've regretted, but once you come to the conclusion that the marriage is really over, you make your peace with it.
You're gonna need the names of those people from the hospital.
I'm gonna have to call you from my office. I just met them today.
Not a problem.
You the hostess at Zazo? Mm-hmm. Were you working nights last week?
I was.
Do you recall any incidents?
Like what?
Like any altercations outside the restaurant?
This is about our fearless manager?
Was he in an altercation?
Constantly. Are you gonna tell him I said that?
No, not if you don't want us to.
Do you recognize this guy?
Yeah, I do.
Is he one of the people that your fearless manager was in an altercation with?
That's not where I recognize him from. I've seen him hanging around the kitchen. I think he was friends with Nestor.
Who's that?
He cleans up from midnight to 6.
What can you tell us about him?
Well, I know he's been in prison. And I know he doesn't like it when someone moves his mop or mop bucket or anything, because I've seen him go stark raving nuts the next day.
Do you know what his relationship is with this guy?
No idea.
We appreciate your help.
Oh, anytime.
Andy, wait. You got a minute?
Move it.
Yeah, sure.
The Army guy I'm working with likes his high school kid.
Who do you like?
I don't know. DOA was banging his partner who was married to this ex-military guy she was in the process of divorcing.
You talked to him?
Yeah. He said all the right things. The only thing that was bothering me was they've been separated 9 months. He's still wearing his wedding ring. May or may not be significant.
Significant. May or may not mean he committed murder.
When his kid lost his brother in Iraq, he knows how to shoot. He shows some antisocial tendencies, you know. I can't exclude him.
What's the DOA's partner giving you?
She admitted to having the affair after we got it from somebody else. I mean, past that, nothing.
I'd go at her again.
With what?
Make her think you're about to collar his high school kid, see what that price was.
Ain't the same working the case without you.
Tell your partner what you're doing. Don't sandbag him. Let him think you're listening to him the same as you want him listening to you.
Hey, you sure this ain't just for today you working down here?
Go on, get out of here.
Nestor Duarte.
Yeah.
Detective Jones and Medavoy. Want to listen for a minute?
What's this about?
Let's talk inside.
You know this guy?
No.
How much time you got left on your parole, Nestor?
5 years, 9 months.
Well, think what a lion is going to give us grounds to violate you, and then look again.
Yeah, I know him. He's a homeless guy. Seen him around the restaurant.
How well do you know him?
Just seen him around.
You've had no contact with him at all?
No.
Why we're here, Nestor?
What do you mean?
We're here because somebody told us they saw you talking to him, hanging around with him. Now, we know you're lying to us about that. What we gotta wonder is what else you're gonna lie to us about?
I knew this was coming.
Just tell us the truth.
Came back around the kitchen about a month ago, asked if he could work for food. I heard the accent. I asked him if he was Basque.
Is that what you were?
Right. So I said I'd give him something to eat. He said he had to work for it, so I told him he could sweep the alley. He started coming every night. He'd sweep, and then we'd eat. And I'd listen to him talk about Ortega.
What's Ortega?
Where he was from, you know, where my grandfather was from. I even managed to say a few words to him, Euskara. That's a Basque language.
How'd he wind up in the dumpster, Nestor?
Last Tuesday, he came in and he said he didn't feel so good. So I told him that he could go lie down and cop would keep him in the back. When I went in to check on him, he was dead.
You moved him?
They would have fired me in a second if they found out what I was doing with him. So I said a prayer over him, and I slung his body over my shoulder, and I carried it out to the dumpster, and just threw him in. You gonna violate me?
Let's go down to the precinct and figure it out.
I would have thought they'd given you R&R for the rest of the week.
Well, I knew I didn't want to go home, so I figured I might as well come back here.
Well, you'll be glad to know we got the guy.
Who is it?
He's a student at the high school.
Why'd he do it?
His brother was killed in Karbala last year. Now, he got it in his head that whatever Army recruiter got sent to his school next deserved to pay the price.
Basically, he became an enemy combatant.
Has he admitted it?
Not yet.
How do you know he did it?
Right now, it's mostly circumstantial. He had made threats against recruiters who had come to the school in the past. He had access to a high-powered rifle, which we're doing ballistics comparisons on.
Yeah, he'd been in Morocco, and we're getting some interesting website traffic from his internet records.
That doesn't prove he did it, though.
It gives us enough for the DA to go to the grand jury.
Which, at this point, is all our bosses are looking for.
Does that mean his name will be in the papers?
Yeah, it's his old man I feel bad for. You know, one son's killed, the other son's a murderer.
I don't know if this is relevant or not, but you have to know something about my husband.
What's that?
He's been having a tough time.
With the divorce?
With the divorce and with me seeing Les.
That's not what you said the last time we talked to you.
I don't think he would do anything like
All right,
this.
when you say tough time, what are we talking about?
Phone calls in the middle of the night, coming in here and making a scene.
Did he threaten you in any way?
No.
Did he threaten Sergeant Bakewell?
He made it pretty clear he disapproved of what we were doing. I said this wasn't the place to discuss that. He turned and walked out like it was drill and ceremony. His face was red, his eyes were straight ahead.
Does your husband have a gun?
He has a rifle, sir.
Hey, we got the report fax from the ME's office. Giuseppe died of a brain aneurysm.
What about the bruises on his face?
No, likely to have happened while he was in the dumpster.
We should get Denise in.
This way. I just had a couple more things to ask you about.
Whatever you need.
Oh, by the way, I couldn't help but notice you're still wearing your wedding ring.
I'm a creature of habit. I got used to wearing it. Soon I'll get used to not wearing it.
Colonel, you ever been in the recruiting office where your wife works and confronted her and Sergeant Bakewell?
From the way you're asking the question, I have to assume you know the answer. I did go there. I had what I thought was a frank discussion with the both of them about what they were doing, and I left.
Now, you've also kept up a steady barrage of phone calls and emails to your wife.
I still have feelings for the woman, Detective.
Why was that rifle in the trunk of your car, Colonel?
You went in my car?
We had a search warrant to go in your car.
How did you get a search warrant?
Your wife said that you had a rifle and that you had behaved in a manner that allowed us to get one.
Well, I guess it's fair to say that loyalty's not her most prominent character trait.
Must have hurt to realize that.
It hurt like hell. I sucked it up and moved on. Next question.
What are you going to do when ballistics comes back that it was your rifle used to kill Sergeant Bakewell?
I'm going to suggest you get yourself another ballistics lab because there's no way in hell that it's true.
No, I went through your 201 file, Colonel. You did 3 tours of duty as a commander of a combat arms unit. I spoke to someone who served in that unit. Said you were a hell of an officer. Looked out for your men, put yourself at risk.
I don't think the detective's all that interested in listening to you blow smoke up my ass.
What I can't understand is how you can lay in wait and take out one of our own.
Unless you thought that was the only way to get her back.
You think I want her when she's grieving another man? I do not.
In time, she'd forget him.
I'm not waiting my turn on the receiving line for sloppy seconds, thank you very much.
What happened to you when you retired, Colonel? I mean, how do you go from a brave soldier to a simpering coward who shoots an unarmed soldier and then lies about it?
I don't have to answer to you, Junior Warrant Officer Nutting!
Colonel, I don't have a military background, but based on what I know about your record, it seems like your sense of honor ought to cause you to tell us the truth. No matter what you did, no matter why you did it.
I thought we were gonna build a world for ourselves, Angela and me. I came back from overseas to have a house and a yard, to raise children. That's what I fought my way through hell to get back to. Then I hung up my uniform because it was time to make a decent living. Time to stay in one place. Time to enjoy our life together. I earned that right. I put in my time, and I earned that right.
And this guy took it away from you.
I set up on the location where I knew he'd be. As soon as I had a clear shot, I took him out. What did he think was gonna happen?
Boss, just want to let you know, partner's husband won for it.
Where's Nutty?
He's telling his commanding officer.
It's good work, Detective.
Thanks.
Cleared this one without Sipowicz.
Not really. Just want to let you know someone else confessed. You can take your son home now.
Is the guy from the army still here?
Yeah.
My son would like to say something to him.
He was just doing his job.
Are you gonna talk to the family of the guy that got killed?
Yeah, I'll probably put a call into him.
You tell him for me that I'm sorry? Especially if he has a younger brother?
Yeah, I'll let him know.
I got your message. What'd you find out?
Come in.
Your uncle died of a brain aneurysm.
What is that?
I think it's when something happens to one of your arteries.
From what I understand, it's very quick, not at all painful.
So nobody killed him?
No.
I guess that's better than right.
I'd say so.
You should also know that he made a friend during the last month or so of his life.
Who was that?
A guy who works in a restaurant kitchen. Your uncle would sweep and he'd give him food.
Another Basque.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He even spoke a little Euskara to him.
Oh, he must have been in heaven.
Yeah, well, it was something anyway.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
Call it a day.
Baldwin?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put in my papers.
Are you serious?
I think it's time.
Because of bail?
No, though he did get me thinking. Now, truth is, I've been up nights over this. I don't think I'm ever gonna love a job as much as being a detective. But I got an opportunity opening up. I think I could have a life with Bridget. I think she wants to be with me. And I'm never gonna have another chance like that.
Greg, I never had a better partner than you. But you gotta be happy. And if you got a chance to go for something better, then I think that's great.
I should tell the boss.
Yeah.
Clark gone?
Yeah, he had to go over to central booking.
You know what happened with his case?
The husband of the DOA's partner went for it.
That's the one John was liking.
He's got some good instincts, that boy.
How come you're here so late?
We were in court all day. Had to get caught up on our paperwork. We miss you, Andy.